Hello guys, you're welcome to another tutorial on Sew with Abby channel. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, thank you for stopping by. Please do not leave without subscribing, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. In today's video, I'll be showing how to cut this bustier blouse with snatched waistline. This video is well detailed, beginners friendly and easy to follow. If this is what you like to see, then keep watching and make sure you watch till the end. For this tutorial, here are the materials I'll be working with alongside boning and stay. And for my fabric, I have crepe here, which is 1 yard. My lining also is 1 yard. Now the first thing I'll do is to draw a straight line which is serve as my starting line, and from there I'll take my vertical measurement. Now this blouse is an off-shoulder blouse, and the first thing to determine is how off you want your blouse to be. For me, I want it off by 6 inches. So I placed my 6 inches on the starting line, and from there I'll continue to take my vertical measurements. The first is my bust line, which is 9.5 inches, my under bust 13 inches, my waistline 16 inches, and the length of this blouse, which is 24 inches. I will also take the same measurements on this side, then draw straight lines to connect the points. Now I will label the lines. This is the bust line, the under bust line, the waistline, and the length, the full length of the blouse. The next thing to do is to create the bustier. To do that, I'll come to the bust line and mark my bust span measurement. Your bust span is also your nipple to nipple measurement. My bust span measurement divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. Then I'll mark the same thing on the under bust line, the waistline, as well as the full length line. Then I'll connect the point with a straight line. Next thing to do is to take in the dart. On the under bust line, I'll measure 1.5 inches on this side. Now if you are working with a very big bust, you can measure 2 inches and 1 inch for not too big bust, and then I'll measure ½ inch towards the center fold, and I'll measure the same thing on the waistline as well as the full length line. Then I'll connect the points. Now that I've taken in the dart, I'll come to the bust line and come down by 1 inch. Then I'll bring in my French curve to create a curve towards the dart leg. I will add ½ inch to my nipple to nipple measurement and measure it on the starting line. ½ inch to that is 4 inches. Then I'll connect the points to the bust line like so. The next thing to do is to tighten the over bust. So on the starting line, I'll go in by 1 inch towards the center fold and 0.75 at this side. Then I'll connect the point back to the bust line. Now I'm going to create my armhole curve. To get your armhole curve, whatever your armhole measurement is, take away the measurement for your off shoulder and mark the remaining inches. I hope you understand. Then from this part of the starting line, connect to the point with a slant line. Now let's take the round measurement. I'll take my bust measurements here. Take note of where I place my tape. My bust circumference divided by 4. Then I'll replace the dart measurement here, which is 1 inch, and also add 1.5 inches sewing allowance. Then at the waistline, I'll measure my waist circumference divided by 4, replace the 2 inches for the dart, and also add the sewing allowance. Now at the hem line, I'll measure my hip circumference divided by 4, replace the 2 inches for the dart, and also add the sewing allowance. Then I'll connect the 3 points together. At this side of the hem, I'll go up by 1 inch. This is to give this part of the hem a nice curve, although I'll still make some changes to fit the style we are recreating later. Okay, so guys, this part of the pattern will be cut out, and also this part. The next thing to do now is to take the side dart. To do that, I'll come down from the bust line by 1 inch, then I'll connect the point towards the bust point line. And this is all for the drafting of the front pattern. I'll mark the part I'll be cutting off and also cut out my pattern. Now for the neck shape, I'll come down with about ½ inch to form a sweetheart neckline. You can use more than ½ inch, it depends on how deep you want your neckline to be. I will cut through this line to open the side dart, but I won't cut it to the end. I will also overlap it on each other like so and use paper tape to hold it together. This way I have closed the side dart. Now this is the center front and this is the side front. I will set this aside to draft the back pattern. For the back pattern, I will take the vertical measurement like I did the front, but here I will only take the waist and the full length measurement. Now for the waistline, I am not using the same measurements like the front. I will make it 1 inch shorter because of the side dart. So the full length will be 23 inches and not 24. For my back pattern, you can see that I didn't add zipper allowance. This is because I want my blouse to have lacing instead. But if you want yours to have zipper, make sure you add zipper allowance to your pattern or your fabric. So this is the waistline and this is the full length line. The next thing to do is to take my dart. So on the waistline, I'll measure my bust span measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5, and I'll measure the same thing on the hem line as well as the starting line. Then I'll connect the 3 points into a straight line. Now for my dart intake, I'll come to the waistline and measure ½ inch on either side of this straight line, and on the hem line I'll come up by 1 inch and come down by 1 inch from the starting line. Then I will connect my dart. The next measurement to take is the armhole measurement. I will measure my armhole the same way I measured it on the front pattern, and on this side I'll come down by 8 inches. But if you want your back really open, go below that 8 inches, okay? You can also use your straight rule to connect these points together. Now let's take the round body measurement. I will measure my bust circumference divided by 4. The dart space here is less than ½ inch, but I added ½ inch to my 1.5 inches sewing allowance regardless. And on the waistline, I'll measure my waist circumference divided by 4, replace the 1 inch for the dart plus the sewing allowance. On the hem line, I'll measure my hip circumference divided by 4 plus sewing allowance. Then I'll connect the 3 points together. I will also come up by 1 inch at this side, just like I did on the front pattern. And in case you don't want your back to curve in as it is, you can just maintain the straight line here instead. Now I mentioned earlier that the back of this blouse will be lacing. Because of that, I will go in from the center back by 1.5 inches, then draw a slant line towards the hem. So this part is no longer useful, and this is all for the drafting of the back pattern. I'll go ahead now to cut. This is the center back and this is the side back. I will also use these arrows to indicate the side, the upper and the lower part. Go ahead and label your patterns whichever way you are going to understand it. Alright guys, let's check if the side back and the side fronts are the same thing. You can see that they are actually the same thing, so you don't have to worry about joining them together. Okay, I will go ahead now to transfer each of these patterns to my fabric. So guys, with this we've come to the end of the video on how to draft and cut. In my next video I'll be dropping the sewing tutorial. Thanks for watching guys. If you find this tutorial helpful, hit on the like button, and if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on your post notification so that when I post the sewing tutorial you will be notified. See you in my next one.